This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
So good, so good, so good.
New fall arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off Vince, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Because there's always something new.
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock exclusive discounts on your favorite brands. Shop new arrivals first and more. Plus, get an extra 5% off every Rack purchase with a Nordstrom credit card. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
This is Optimal Work Daily. The 10 Worst Things You Can Do in a Negotiation, Part 1, by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com. The best negotiator I knew always acted like an idiot. He acted so well that I thought he was really stupid. I also thought at the time that he was my best friend. That was probably an act also. Just 2 years later, he stopped talking to me forever. I ran into him in the street the other day, and he smiled and shook my hand. I felt warm, like he liked me again. Then he was gone. Negotiation is first about warmth. Two sides deciding if they want to be friends with each other, if they want to be in the same tribe, fighting side by side in this harsh world. After that, it's about vulnerability, making yourself into the type of person someone else wants to take care of. This is not a mystery. When a baby is born, the negotiation begins. It lasts until at least the baby is an adult. My oldest turns 16 tomorrow. She negotiates with me every day. I love her, but maybe that's what makes her such a tough negotiator. I'm not so good at realizing where all the boundaries are, between the outer me and the inner me, between the me that always loves her and the me that wants her to love me back. I guess that's how I am with everyone. If they don't love me back, I'm afraid I'll be less happy. If I'm honest where the boundaries are, then we can begin to set up the rules. Then love begins. Tricky. I've probably seen over 1,000 negotiations in action. I've probably been directly involved in 100 or so. Everyday life is a negotiation. I'm not talking in this post about the everyday negotiations, although the same rules apply. I'm talking about negotiations where careers and money and reputations and maybe love is at stake. For me, that latter one is the hardest. So take my advice with a grain of salt. In fact, I'd rather tell you all the ways in which I've messed up in negotiations because this is really the classroom I learned in. A. If you have a small list of terms, you'll lose. Let's say you're selling a company. One side is usually focused on the final price. That side will henceforth be called the loser. Make your list bigger. What are the terms of the non-compete? What is the length of the earnout? What are the salaries of the new top executives? What are the perks? What are the options packages? Or if it's a job, what are the responsibilities? What are similar people being paid? What is the path to higher promotions? What are the details of health, vacation, moving expenses, reviews, etc.? The side with the bigger list can give up the nickels for the dimes to the loser. B. If you don't get enough sleep, your willpower will be zero. Carl Icahn, one of the best investors in the world, uses this technique. He schedules his negotiations for the early evening. Our peak mental ability, according to Dan Ariely, author of Predictably Irrational and many other books, is approximately 2 hours after we wake up until about 4 hours after we wake up. And then, throughout the day, our willpower slowly leaks away until we sleep again. That's why we watch TV and eat donuts at night rather than when we first wake up. So Carl Icahn will sleep until 4 p.m. and then go to the negotiation at 6 p.m. On the other side of the table are exhausted lawyers who've been working all day. Bam! Who do you think will win that negotiation? C. Most people think short term. Be the visionary, and you win. Applied Semantics didn't want to sell to Google in 2001. They had raised some money, and they thought they could make it. A few months earlier, I had made the mistake of turning them down when they were raising money. The search engine business is dead, said the greatest prophet of modern times, me. Larry Page told the CEO of Applied, I'm not getting off the phone until you say yes. So Applied Semantics sold themselves in exchange for 1% of Google. 1%. This was before Google went public, so it was a total unknown what those shares would be worth. Larry Page had the vision of where they would be. Applied Semantics became the AdSense division of Google, which now accounts for 99% of Google's revenues. Are they upset? Shouldn't they have sold for more? Of course not. They sold for over $1 billion in value and created the end goal of making one of the best companies in the world. You can only get rich once. Don't worry so much about maximizing your percentage of something. 1% of 250 billion is better than 100% of nothing, as the saying goes. I'm going to take a break for a second and say something that has saved me considerable stress. Never worry about what is in someone else's pocket. Let other people do well. Then you will do well. Okay, back to what you shouldn't do in a negotiation. D. Don't say no. I say this even though I wrote the book, The Power of No. What I really mean here is bury your no inside of a yes. I was negotiating with one company once. They wanted me to be an advisor. I said no. But not like that. What I really said was, you have a great company and I'm happy to give advice. What a great way to say no. They kept calling. They really wanted me. I said, here's what you should do without me. And I totally laid out the plan they should do. I did it for free. That was another way of saying no. This made them want me as an advisor even more. Eventually, they offered enough that I said yes. They followed my advice exactly, the advice that I had already given for free. There's a well-known improv technique of saying yes and. In improv, the first performer creates the premise. The second performer can't change it or reject it. He can only build on it. In a negotiation, if someone says, well, you're only worth $1 because you have X, you can say, yes, and we also have Y, so let's take that into consideration. Suddenly your value is higher because you didn't start a fight. You agreed and added. E. Hear that on tomorrow's episode. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled The 10 Worst Things You Can Do in a Negotiation by James Altucher of jamesaltucher.com.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
And thank you to James, who is an entrepreneur, a writer, investor, trader, and podcaster. And on his podcast, he's got interviews with a bunch of talented people like Nancy Cartwright, Sarah Blakely, Tony Robbins, Ariana Huffington, and many, many more. That podcast, if you'd like to check it out, is called The James Altucher Show, and it's always in the top charts in the business category over at Apple Podcasts for good reason. James has published 20 books as well and founded or co-founded over 20 companies. So come by jamesaltucher.com to learn and read more. He's always got a unique take on things. But that's going to do it for me today. And I'll be back here tomorrow where I'm going to finish up this post and where your optimal life awaits.